This podcast is sponsored by Field Agent Canada.
Phil, I think you know, and most people who know me know, that I'm not a huge fan of demos. I do love the sampling. I want people to try my product, but I'm not convinced that the demos available today for vendors are very effective. I think they chew up a lot of time. There's a lot of product waste, and I'm never convinced that they're actually targeting the right people.
Okay, Smarty Pants, what do you do that's different?
Buy and try from Field Agent. 300,000 consumers in their shopping panel that goes across the country. These people go to the store, buy your product, have to complete a survey on what they loved, what they didn't love about your product. Get that feedback to you as quickly as possible so that you can start making the right decisions.
I like that. I think it's also really great for products that are really difficult to sample.
Absolutely. Shampoo, laundry detergent, toothpaste, deodorant, endless. And you think about it, Phil, these people get to take the product home into their own homes, into their natural environments, and give this stuff a try. It's affordable, it's fast, it's across the country, all cities. It is awesome.
This podcast is sponsored by Field Agent Canada. You guys know us. We don't endorse anyone or any product or any service we don't believe in. We've been customers of Field Agent before. They're amazing. If you need to drive trial, you need Field Agent Canada. Head to www.fieldagentcanada.com to check it out.
Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
The wife tells me to shut up all the time, so I must be good at it.
See, and we're not going to ever tell you to shut up, so it's all good.
Wow, you don't know that yet.
I was going to say, hold on, there's always a first for everything.
Never make promises, Phil, that you know you might not be able to keep, eh?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
How do you guys know each other?
I met him once for about literally 5 minutes.
Okay.
I don't even know if it was that long.
No, it was at least 5.
Okay.
Enough to hand cards.
Yeah,
like
sports
business
cards.
Okay. And where did you meet? What?
Langley Event Center for the big 3-day card show there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I had heard about Tyler's company probably a month prior from a guy who I sold some cards to on Marketplace. And he got, I know this guy. I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I'm thinking, okay, I mean, like, because we'll get into this in a moment. I'm thinking, okay, another grading company. Okay, whatever. And then Anthony was on me like a rash at one show. I mean, this guy got me. This guy. I'm thinking, okay, Anthony, like, take a pill, man. Yeah, I get it. I'll meet the guy. And then it was at the card show. So I thought, okay, listen, we better book him because we're not going to hear the end of this one. So let's do this.
Sounds like you were held hostage.
Well, you're the only one in the end that I wasn't held hostage by. This is the other two.
I knew you were busy at the time. Yeah, I had to move out of the way. There was paying customers behind me.
Not that many.
No, wasn't that good.
It was okay. I mean, because I do vintage baseball, right? So for the large part, so it's definitely
So no Japanese animation in your baseball?
No Pokemon, my friend. No Pokemon.
Kenny,
Bill knows how to agitate the shit out of me, right? Just say those.
I also like. So I know nothing about all I know about cards is what I used to collect when I was a kid, and then I'm pretty good at winning cards, at flicking cards and things like that. But that's about So you got the one expert over there, and then you got me. So
expert.
I apologize for that.
You got one guy who likes it, and then you got one guy who's doing it, and then the other guy who maybe we'll drag him into this. I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
No, you won't drag me in. I don't need another pastime, but I appreciate it because I think, it is fun. Like there's something magical about having cards. Like I don't know, as a kid, we used to have them all the time, and then they got really special for me. Like my grandma didn't speak any English, was a huge Leafs fan, right? And so I used to. The only time I really got into it was the years that she watched. Every year, I'd have to go out and look for the current lineup out of the Leafs so I could put them together. So
Yeah.
she could see what these guys look like, right? Because she, on the old TVs, you could just see the numbers. So she'd know the numbers. And so I would give her the pictures so she could see, right? And then, when we started to really get into it, then she was like, this is like late 80s, early 90s. All of a sudden she was into like, okay, wait, but there are these teams that we get into fights with. Who are the guys on those teams, right? So then I go out and try and, like gather all of those cards for her, right? So she could see, right? So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good memories, right? It always creates some great memories. That's one thing I can say.
Yeah.
Just going through cards, I did it for over 30 years with my father, and he's gone now, but I can look at cards and just the memories come flooding back from, everything, right? So
I think that's what it is sometimes more than anything is that, I think because I'm older than both of you, but like we would do, topsies, leaners, closest to the wall, knockdowns, scrambles, and we would fill checklist, and you tried to build teams and sets. Like that was the old school. And now as you get older, what I like about it is you reminisce with older guys who remember, and you remember games, and you remember when the player came in the league, and then you date yourself brutally because you're looking at Iserman and Neely cards, and those were 84s. I'm thinking, fuck, I graduated in 84. That was 40 some years. Like you start doing the math, you're thinking, holy
we just built like this nice ambience of romance over the cards, and you just suck it all out of the room.
No, it isn't, because you get that. The old timers are the best, because you'll hear this. I mean, I got one guy who comes every show and tells me about watching the Angels play when he lived in California. And it was when the Dodgers left Brooklyn and went to LA, and he's Koufax, and he just every show it's the same 2 or 3 stories every single show. But he's such a nice old man, so you just whatever, right? It's all good in the hood.
Yeah.
So for you, young man, this is how it works. We're already recording anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I guess what we try to do here is, one, because you have a business and you're Canadian, we're all over that, like everything. We just love that. Where did you come from? How did you get here? Why do this? Because I'll grill you on that one too, but that's fine because that's just me. And then we can talk the hobby or wherever the conversation goes, it goes. But we just like to hear really the stories. Like, how did you get? Because me, because I'm a card guy. I love this shit. Like I've been dying to have some cards. Phil might not be as interested at the beginning, but we can get him interested.
We'll suck him in. We'll get him there.
Absolutely. You never know. He might be a collector by the end of this. It's tough.
Kenny knows my buttons. That's true.
You never know. Phil's known to do this.
Awesome.
So wherever you want to go, you start it up. Tell us where you want to go.
Phil or me?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
If basically TGA, new company, as you know, it's launched about 30 days ago now, and doing very, very well. But I guess kind of get you started where I come from. I've been doing it for well over 30 years, collecting sports cards, baseball, hockey, basketball. Got into non-sports, Marvel. Just the whole hobby in general, football, just started jumping into a lot of different things. And it all started with a Daryl Sittler rookie card. And I was out visiting my mother in British Columbia, and I peeled off from her in the mall and ended up buying this hockey card with $25 of the money that my dad gave me to go on holidays with, right? So everyone thought I was crazy at the time, but I went back home, showed Dad what I had bought, and it intrigued him because he had, played with cards when he was a kid as well too. But unfortunately, it goes as the old story happens. They got chucked in the garbage when the attic got cleaned out or whatnot, right? So Yeah, basically it's been a long time hobby. I bought that card. My dad said, cool. We went to a card shop and then it just went out of hand from there. We were at a card shop usually once a weekend or at least once every 2 weeks if we could. And that was a big deal because we lived rural way out in Saskatchewan, right? So going into town was a big deal and we went into the card shop and spent some time. It was a lot
How
of
old were you
great
at this
times.
time? 10ish, 11?
I would have been 11 when I did that. Yeah, roughly 11. So it spawned 30 years of collecting, 30 plus years of collecting for him, 30 plus years of collecting for myself as well. And it's just, as you probably know, Kenny, it's one of those things you just, once you're in, you're in. There's no real getting out of it.
No.
Once you're in, it's for life. It really is, honestly.
Yeah. And I do coins, paper, money, watches, and cards.
There you go, right? Some of us have
nightmare.
more vices than the other, right? But it's not something you really get out of. And since my father's passing a few years ago, I really accelerated in the business from selling, eBay, getting thousands of cards graded every month. And through doing that, realized that there was a real big need in Canada for grading. And considering I've been doing it for so long for myself, sending them in and receiving excellent grades back, it was a pretty much a no-brainer for Canada here that this was needed. So I took all of the things that people didn't like about grading companies, and I tried to eliminate those things and incorporate all the good things for the hobbyist mainly. Yeah, I don't know. It's growing every day. It's snowballing, and I'm very happy. Canadians have been very forthcoming and jumping on board. I launched a program, 520-200 it's called, which is basically you get 20 cards a year graded for 5 years for a one-time payment of $200. Just to get people to get their feet wet, right? And it's really taken off, and a lot of people have jumped in, and some of them even have second and third orders in already. So
I know I need to sign up for that one. I've got cards coming to you. I just haven't done it yet.
Our turnaround time is probably the thing that people like the most. We're a 3-week turnaround time or less if it can be done. Which is another thing that I found in the hobby was a thing that people didn't like, because as you know, the hobby's an up and down thing. 1 week a card is worth this much and the next week it's worth this much. So the sooner you can get that in and graded and out for sale, if you're one of those people that buy and sell, then it's a big help to the hobby, right?
Can we talk about grading for a second? Like I think the thing I'm going to bring, because I'm this is fascinating to me. I definitely know I'm not getting into this, but
you don't know that yet.
I know already, because it requires you to be more thorough than I'd like to be. Because the old days of, like, I got a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, and then as far as I knew, there wasn't really grading. It was more like, is it bent? Are the corners kind of creased? Does it come from a card company that is reputable, I guess, or quality in their making? And then that was it, right? Like, but can you talk a little bit about the grading thing and what is entailed in that?
Sure, absolutely. So when it comes down to it, you're correct. Back in the day, it was a lot of the lingo was, the card's mint, or it was just near mint, and it's good.
Man,
it
I didn't touch it. I just put it in the glassy thing, and that's it.
Great eye appeal. That those were kind of the terms that everybody used, right? But with the hobby growing as it has, it's with the buy and sell of a lot of key cards and higher end cards. People want to know what they're buying. They're almost like stocks now. People are buying these as investments, and they're in the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, some of these cards, right? So when someone's purchasing said investment, they want to know that this card has a certain condition on the corners, the surface, the edges. You know what I mean? That the card all around is worth their investment, because as you know, Kenny, cards go up weekly, monthly, and with age, especially the vintage cards, right?
Yeah. And volatile.
Yeah, and even going back to our old the conversation earlier, where there's people used to play games with these cards, right? They were tossing them against the wall and trying to collect their teams and their favorite players and all that stuff, right? So when you hit a higher grade vintage card, it's a valuable item, right? So that's the point behind grading them, is just it's key value, and then for the average hobbyist, it's just to protect the card, right? But one thing that we went through is we're completely transparent. We're showing all 4 subgrades on the card. So we let you know where the faults are on the card. So you don't just end up with a grade, kind of that old school lingo, jargon, mint, near mint, here, there, right? You're getting to know why your card didn't get a perfect 10, right? So
what do you like? Is it about the creases and folds and wear
There's
and
4
tear?
subgrades that Tyler will tell you.
yes, correct. So there's 4 subgrades. You've got your surface, you've got your corners, you've got your edges, and you got your centering, which is probably the most key when it comes to eye appeal, right?
Eye appeal.
I'm sure Kenny would agree with that,
Eye
right?
appeal.
Yeah. So those 4 subgrades are what dictates your final grade on your card. So it could, you know what I mean? You could have 10s across the board, which would give you what we have as our flawless, black flawless. And, or you could be having a little ding on a corner here or there, and it could bring it down to an 8. You could have a surface scratch. There could be print lines from factory. There could be many different things that you find on cards, right? You get into the vintage, you still got some gum stuck to them. You've got some wax on them, from the packaging, because back in the day, they were all wrapped in wax, right? So hence the old wax era.
Listen, it's got to cost more, right? Because now you get some free gum with it as well.
I know people still eat the gum out of old packs. I don't know why, but they do it. I'm not.
Yes, I've watched a few people try it. I don't get it either. But
I'm not.
Come on. That stuff wasn't good when you back in the day.
Well, can you imagine what 40 or 50 years later is like? Whatever turns your crank, it's up to you. If you're a big kid, figure it out.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay.
But it does.
Right.
So for Phil's question, like the creasing, like for example, like if you had a well-centered card, with let's say clean corners, clean edges, like maybe it would grade. Let's say it's an 8, but you put a small crease into the corner, and you're down to a 4.
You're correct.
Or 3, depending on how big the crease
depending
is.
on how far the crease is, how deep it is, if it's a broken through the paint, has it gone through the gloss? There's a lot of different factors there, absolutely. But yes, a crease in the card is probably one of the biggest no-nos that you don't want. But it's when you get into vintage, those are still collectible. When you get that far back, it's inevitable to have that happening on 90% of those cards that were left out there, right? So there's a small percentage of those that are still in gem mint or perfect condition out there.
And I guess we assume that anything current, let's say, from the 2000s and up, there's a lot stricter grading than something you're pulling from the 50s. Where in the 50s card, I may allow, obviously, surface. I mean, to get a spotless surface on a card that's been around for 70 years. Is a lot less expected than pulling a McDavid rookie that's now 7 or 8 years old. I'm pretty sure that most came out pretty freaking clean.
Most of them, I got to be honest with you, it depends, right? Upper Deck, their standards are not the highest, right? And print lines are probably the most common thing nowadays. That is the biggest common thing in sports cards when it comes to affecting the grade, is print lines on cards, because anybody can see corners and edges, but it's those machines that it runs through.
Right.
So
when did we start grading cards? Like how long ago was this?
Yeah.
I know in coins and paper money, and it typically flew from there, because that was, much older slabs.
Well, I've been personally submitting probably close to and grading myself the cards before they go out, on average anywhere between 800,000 cards a month for the last 5 years.
How long's PSA been around, though, or like SCG? Like these are the majors in the States, or Beckett.
Yeah, they've been around since the 90s, right? They were
right. So they're still relatively new,
right?
Relatively new, sort of, in a sense, because you could, coins were already being graded at that time. In the States in slabs, or in Canada, ICCS in the old coin holders and stuff. So it's still, when did it really explode? Do you know? Like, I'm even trying to get history on this sometimes, because I'm curious.
So
like, it's now
grading really, exploded more so it was very high in the 90s, right? The 90s was, as you know, was a big boom in the 90s. And then the mid 2000s again kind of took off a little bit, and now to current, the last 5-6 years have just been, that's all it is. It moved into, it's probably 60% of what people do with cards.
Well, it's mainstream. Like
right?
You're not even buying raw anymore unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah, correct. So that's just the way the market has gone, and like I said, it comes down to, because it's an investment for people nowadays. People are buying these as an investment to put away for their kids or to make money on down the road. There's not just the hobbyist anymore. It's brought other people that are just doing it to make money as well too, right? So
yeah, which we can get into that discussion in a moment.
Yeah.
Well, we're part of it, but I mean, I like to think in some ways I'm still kind of an older school purist to some degree. It's still nice just to have, a nice Hank Aaron card. Not because it's a 5 or an 8 or a 9 or a 2. It's just because it's
just to be an owner of it. Yeah.
Right. Like, and there's certain years that, play into that. I guess for people who don't collect, we have to, and you'll go like there's current cards that are worth way more than vintage. Like we know what, let's say a Montana rookie. So, Joe put up pretty good numbers. I think they're solidified in the books. I think they've been baked in, we'll call it. I don't think he's going to throw any more.
Well,
so we're sure what he's doing. But if you look at a Montana versus a Mahomes or at one time even a Jones, I mean, age has something to do with, but I'm assuming not everything.
For the value of cards, you mean?
For the value of the cards in the end, because people, they'll come up to you. I got old cards and they think they're worth a fortune, or new cards. I guess could be the same. I mean, it's
there is emotional value though. Like
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, because like a Wayne Gretzky, for example, like I don't know what it like. You guys would tell me, but I feel like that's a super valuable card because it's Wayne Gretzky, right? But if you
relative to what though, right? Yeah.
If you got a Pavel Bure or I'm definitely dating myself, or a Dale Howard card, no, okay, it's cool that like you'd only have a Dale Howard card if you were a Winnipeg Jets fan,
right?
And you were a Howard fan, right? Like, even though, I don't know.
That's exactly how it works too, though, right? It's what people are willing to pay, and as I've seen many times with people out there, if they want it, they pay for it, right? So it's and then there's the other guys who wait and hunt out the good deals. It's a market all around, right? So, but the emotional part of it is like you said, just to say you own a piece or a Wayne Gretzky rookie card or a Mickey Mantle or a Bobby Orr or whatever it may be, that's a big portion of it too, just to, say I have that card, right?
Yeah.
And for some people, condition doesn't matter. And for others, like I said, it does, right? So it's to each their own and how they feel about it, right? There's a lot of feeling, and you probably agree with that, Kenny, in the card.
It's mostly emotion, which makes it a complicated hobby to control and balance.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can get lost in the emotion really fast and you will overpay, whatever that means. Well, because again, it's like anything. If the card's worth $1,000 to you, it's worth $1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was, if the market's trading at 900, you paid $100 more than maybe you could have or should have. But in that moment, I get it. I've done it. I mean, we've all
been there, done it too. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's what you want, right? You get caught up in an auction. You just get caught up in the moment. I mean, and again, I think it does. I think a large part of it is it draws from memories. You grew up with these players. I mean, it'd be no different than the kids now. It's just, I think that the difference is like when we were buying cards, like we were paying 5, 10, 15, 25 cents. And I think of where I finally capped out or 40 cents, maybe for the 80, 90, 91 OPGs. I think they were 40. But that's kind of where that's where I left it. Where I watch kids now paying $7, $8, $9, $10, $15 a wax pack or a foil pack. And what, again, 3, 4 cards, like.
Yeah. Open packs nowadays in boxes, there is $600, $800, $900. Then they trend all the way up to $15,000 to $25,000 a box for 8 cards, 12 cards.
Seriously, Phil. Like you got Caitlin's
he just
card,
fell over.
I know. Well, look at Caitlin. She came out. Like, she's a wicked basketball player. The girl's amazing. She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. Yeah. But her box comes out at 325 or 350, whatever the box was. Within 2 weeks, it's like a 1050, 1100, 1200, 1400.
Yeah.
But I think we could get into this because I do get curious to see how other people feel. It's gotten to the point where the money it's like you sometimes maybe because again I'm just older. The thrill of the hunt, the thrill of the collect, the thrill of having seems to have been superseded by the grade and the dollar. And it's okay. I get it. It's where it is. I'm not pissing and moaning about it because I benefit from it too. I do make money on the cards. But do you know what I mean? It feels like
you're 100%. The hobby has changed to that style of things, and you're correct. I'm an old school as well too. Like I said, 30 years ago, I used to be the kid that went out with dad and set up in the middle of the mall with our homemade showcases, right? And did our thing in the middle of the mall, right? So it's been a big turn, yes, in the hobby, 100%. Like I said, a lot of it is the dollars and cents of it. People are doing this as an investment. It's become a business for them more than a hobby.
The cost definitely, because back then you could buy cards. It didn't cost you very much, and they were fun no matter what. Like if you just had them, you had them, right? Like, and then whatever your hometown. Like I'm in Toronto, so my hometown's the Leafs, and at one point I was a Leaf fan, and so you kind of go.
At one point,
you hear that
what happened? Hold on, back that up.
Yeah,
you bailed.
Oh, a long time ago. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again.
I'm stuck in that loop. I'm stuck in that loop, buddy, because I'm a Leafs fan.
Losing is not like the only people who are benefiting is MLSE with the money they're making. So anyway, back then you get a thrill out of it. You kind of go, I got a Gary Lehman card to totally date myself, right? Or I got an Ally Brady card, and you're like, this is awesome. Like I'll keep it, and I'll keep it special only because it's special to me, right? Yeah. But now, like if I got to pay $9 to get 4 cards,
that's cheap. There's very rare packs out there that even have that in it.
There's not many. I threw that out before, Phil, so I didn't want to get too depressed before we got too far. $9 packs.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is that too high or too low?
Too low.
God.
Like I remember when I was back, started collecting. We went to the first hobby shop. We were buying boxes, like an entire 24 pack or 36 pack box was costing us like $28 or something, or $22 with taxes in. Yeah. So times have changed.
You know what? When we were paying 30 cents a pack times 36, it was $10.80.
Yeah, there you go.
You could buy a box of 1984 85s and literally guarantee a Neely, an Iserman, like, you know what I mean? You could guarantee that. In today's cards, I'm not listening to you. In today's cards, what do you get? And you watch kids go through, like in the old days, to Phil's point, we'd go through, like I remember, this is probably like 73, 74, 74, 75. I wanted a Mickey Redmond. Why? I don't know. Who cares? And I love Rogie Vachon. And I liked Marcel Dion, and we would be on the hunt, and then you'd be watching the guys playing leaners or closest to the wall. Think, fuck, there's a Mickey Redmond.
We'll be right back.
Hey guys, a little mid-roll call out for our special guests, or special supporters, I should say, of the podcast. Phil and I would love to acknowledge LeBeau Excel Sales and Marketing, our friends Matt and his team. They're an amazing, award-winning Canadian brokerage. They represent top brands in both the conventional and the natural channels, and all sub-channels within. So they do food, they do drug, they do grocery, they do independent, they do natural. Like, these guys are everywhere, and they've been doing it for a long time. Awesome people, really great to work with, and you can feel really, really comfortable using them. Doesn't matter the size of the retailer. These are just classy people, class acts.
They've got a national team, a team that has really deep knowledge of all sorts of things, certifications. They understand gluten-free, organic, non-GMO, vegan, supplements, and HABA. LeBeau Excel, really brings meaningful value to both retailers and category managers. That's important when you're looking for a brokerage.
Just a really well-rounded group. They do everything from food to HABA, which you really don't find a lot of these days out there. You don't find groups that can actually manage all those sides. So I just really, really cool people, and they just do all the cool categories across conventional and super strong in natural health. Super strong.
I think the other thing about this team that's kind of cool is when you've got such deep knowledge, in retail channels and segments and subsegments. One of the other things that makes them an award-winning team is they don't rest there. They are into they've invested heavily and they're into technology as well. Obviously now we don't go anywhere without talking about AI. But these guys have spent a lot of time integrating technology, AI, scan data they buy. They pair it with advanced reporting tools, so they're able to give you smarter insights and a strategic edge in the market. They're making data-based decisions, and they can come to you with recommendations based on that data. So, you're getting on one side a really experienced team that understands the industries that you got to get into, and then that team is now using data, and lots of data automation, AI, to help you make stronger decisions. So a really strong brokerage that you should be thinking about if you're looking for brokerage. If you want to find out more, head to lebeauexcel.com. That's LEBEAUEXCEL.com, and talk to the team, see if you're a fit. And now back to the podcast.
Okay, I got to get in this game because I can do knockdowns, and that's what you were doing. Like you were trying to get the cards, and every pack was a great pack. And now you watch people go through, and they're paying $15, $20 a pack, and it's.
Wait, so how many? So how many come? Like, so what's the average rate? Like $15 for a pack?
I can't even say it's even. Yeah, it's
killing me here.
Just take even the flagship upper deck that comes out every once in a while, right? You're talking what, 225,
240,
225 for 12 packs.
What the? And you think I'm getting into this game? I don't think so. That's
no. We bring you to the old school. You follow the old guys.
No way.
I sell boxes still for $25, $30.
No.
Junk era, but they're fun to open.
Yeah, there you go.
You can still have fun in this. It's just become a little more complicated.
You can't. Like $20 for a pack.
I didn't say that was fun.
And then I got to figure out what might be kind of sort of valuable in that pack.
Which is why I don't buy modern cards.
Yeah, modern cards. You could spend $225 and end up with $40 worth of cards, or you could end up with,
that's if you're lucky.
Yeah, or you could end up with a $10,000 card. You just or the last Bedard hunt on the gold one was what, $1 million bounty or whatever it was, right? $1 million if you get that card.
But think about it. You're opening. It's a fool's hunt. It is really. I'll call it. So people are doing that. I'm sorry if I offended you. It's a fool's hunt. If you really want the card, go buy the card. Find it in a box. You're going to spend $500 to find the card that you could have probably paid $150. Go buy the card. It's not worth the money.
You still need the people to open the boxes, or the cards won't be out there.
Let them do that. Let someone else do that shit. You just go in and buy the card. I always tell people because it's hard, because the hobby has become that. The hunt is always fun. We all hunted if we bought cards. He was hunting for his grandma. We all hunted for the cards in the pack. The thing is, when they were 25, 30 cents, 15, I'm dime. I mean, who cared?
Yeah.
But when you're hunting for 20 and you're thinking, shit, man, if I do a normal pull here, I'll be lucky to get half my cost back. Lucky.
Yeah.
That's a hard 20.
It's
it's legal gambling for children.
Yeah.
Or for adults. It's legal gambling for children and adults. Like
you're right.
In a nutshell.
It's a game of chance.
Yeah.
That's a tough hobby to get into. If you got to think about every pack from a return on investment standpoint, it's a tough.
Well, I think people don't, which makes it even more interesting. But
that's not everybody, right? There are a lot of people are still doing it for the hobby, right? But the guys that are trying to do it as a business or a turnaround and make money, it can sting real quick, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm probably more like Tyler. So, Phil, what I'll do is I like buying. I mean, I buy mostly vintage. I like vintage baseball. Not that I even followed baseball a ton when I was young. I just really I like the history of it. I like the whole feel. But I'll buy hockey. I buy basketball. Same as you. I buy whatever I buy. But I buy with usually the intent, try to buy a reasonable price. I'm not going to say high, low, because that's standard. Sure, who wants to buy high and sell low? That's stupid. So I try to buy at a reasonable price to put it into a slab because I like the protection it provides the card. And I do like the fact that when you get it, you know that it's graded and you can say, okay, I know this has a designation of a 4 or 5 or an 8, and I know what the attributes are, and I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I feel good. I know what it is. It sort of quantified it for me. It makes it easier to value. I appreciate that. But ultimately, it's because I really like that card and it's protected. It's the rest of it is the bonus round. Great bonus round, by the way. But it's the bonus round.
So what's so I keep going back to hockey cards because that's what I collected. I bought those because I like those cards. But what's popular now? Like, is it you talk sports, but then it sounds like Pokemon and all of those cards.
Pokemon's crazy.
It's nuts right now. Pokemon. It's probably
anything like this.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't. It's like the '90s boom of the sports card hockey.
And I tell you what, it's even better than that.
Yeah,
it's bigger. It's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the kids still do go through binders looking for singles.
Yep.
And the kids still. So Phil, it's irritating if you're a sports guy. Okay, because of the pain in the ass of the shows, because there's too fucking many of them. They're in your face. They're standing in front of your booth, and you're thinking, "Fuck, man, manners, kids, manners." Our parents would never have allowed that shit. Move over. You don't stand there. But I love watching them because it's not a lot of slab. They still buy lots of slab, but it is binders. Oh my God, I need, this Bulbasaur.
Wait, sorry. What's a slab?
Slabs are what our friend here Tyler is going to show you in a minute. It's the protection and the grading. I call them slabs because in coins they're slabs. So I still think they're called slabs in our world.
Okay,
I think they're called that. But anyway, the kids will come in and they're actually looking for the cards to finish a set or to upgrade maybe a lesser card. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I think I can't read it. That's Umbreon, I think, or Umbreon or something like that.
Yeah, Umbreon V.
Okay. Yeah.
So his grade's a 10. It's a white label 10. So I know that something in there's probably a 9 or 9.5, probably a 9.5.
Surface, correct. Yes.
Yeah, and surface, I'm assuming, is also the one that pulls the hardest downhill.
Correct. Surface and your centering are your two hardest grades that you want to be the best on for sure.
So Phil, it's even that. Like I've got so many just really well centered cards.
I'm not getting into this hobby.
Don't say that yet. We're gonna go do a show in Toronto one of these days.
That's a cool.
I get it.
It's a sickness. Absolutely. Once you catch it, you don't get rid of it. Like I said, it's once you've got the bug, it's over.
No, it's really tough.
No.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, it's expensive. Like, I don't have anything to start with. All my cards would be I do. I have all these cards lying around, but they're all.
So you know what? Tyler will send you an inexpensive slab. I'll give you an inexpensive slab, and then you'll sit there and think, "Oh wow, this is pretty cool."
No.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know. We know it's I-80.
I have a
maybe a power shot. We already know. Okay,
I've got piles of cards that I will send you guys.
I'll send them a couple of Pavel Bures, and that'll be the end.
No.
Who knows where it goes, right? Maybe a Ty Domi, that 90-91 OPG Premier.
There we go.
Are all the companies the same still? Like Upper Deck, OPG. Who else was there?
They've changed hands, a couple of them, ownership here and there, but yeah, you still have your standard OPG, Upper Deck, and the newer ones, Panini and stuff like that.
Pops is still around.
Pops is still around.
Has come back, and
that was the other one. Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, in the old days, it was easy because you bought a Topps or an OPG. That was your two rookies, and you were done.
Yep.
Now it's like, I don't know how many variations they have on any rookie, and every set's, I don't know. That's why I can't do it. It's too complicated.
You're 100% correct. You can take a base rookie of one guy and say a Panini Prism, and I'm not 100% on this, just throwing it out there, but it could be up to 14 or 16 to 20 variations of that said card. So you got one that's
numbered,
numbered 1 out of
unnumbered
1.
colors.
Yeah, you got one that's numbered 1 out of 1, 2 out of 2, out of 3, out of 5, out of 10, out of 15, out of 20. It just keeps going. Yeah,
And different colors, and then different something. There's some are refractor, some things. I don't know. I can't do it. I have no desire.
There's a lot of variations. It can get very confusing very quick. But obviously, as you know, in now in this industry that we're in versus the older and the vintage, you know, you get those cards that are 1 of 1s or out of 10 or out of 25.
Yeah,
those are at the peak of the industry. Those are the ones that people are really, they're sought after, and you know,
that's why people open up boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes.
Like I said, there's I'd have to say at least every year there's probably 2 to 5 $1 million bounties put out on cards if you pull them out of a box. So
right,
and there's been many stories where it's been a 16 or a 12-year-old kid opening a box with his dad, and he just pulled $1 million bounty card, right? Or
so when you say bounty, you really mean bounty. That's kind of like Kenny going, "I must have a Redmond."
That's exactly what it is. So there's companies that will put up the money, and or personal people have put up $500,000 bounties, card shops if they want the card, and they make it announced. They announce it on social media. If you get this card,
everybody's
pay you $1 million. And then usually what happens, turning to the inventory at all the card shops.
Right.
That's all. But because it's again, and that's the problem I have sort of again with the industry, where in the old days, not that we want to go to the old days, I'm not saying go backwards, but you just bought to open, and then you got lucky and you found a Gretzky or an Iserman or a Neely or I don't give a shit who it was, a Kobe.
But even back then, you weren't even. It wasn't that it was huge value. It was more just.
It was just cool to have.
It had absolutely nothing to do with resale. It had absolutely no dollar value. It was all, like you said in the middle here, it was all sentimental. It was all emotion.
It was all emotion.
Yep.
Right. Yep. You just pulled your favorite player. I mean, you could have bought Gretzky cards in the 80s, late 80s. You know, it wouldn't have been graded the same as now. I mean, the whole, like I remember all, you know what it was? What mint meant? Centered.
Yep.
That's what mint meant. Actually, what mint meant, I just opened it out of the pack. And you're thinking, well, that's great. That's new. That's not mint. That's new. New means shit. What's the grade? Right? So everybody was, it's mint. It was meaning, okay. So basically you took it out of the pack. But centering
everything on Facebook is mint, right? Like
everything's mint.
I've only used it 18 times, but it's mint.
But it's mint.
Right? Like,
But mint was centering because it was all eye appeal. You wanted that card to look super clean. Yeah, you didn't want your corners all screwed up. Edges and then it would rarely, I mean, you did this, but rarely did you really get into the surface outside of a scratch. It wasn't you were hunting for, ripples or whatever it was. It wasn't that. It was really the centering is where we probably all parked because that was your eye appeal.
So the company, TGA grading, is this what you do? You grade cards all day? Like you guys are...
And why did we start cards? Yes. Go back though. So how many grading companies do we have in the country? Did we really need
because now I understand, right? So because I didn't understand grading, right? So now I got that. It took us like, but now I understand.
Now we're getting the gears.
So so what do you tell me what you do?
How do you make money at this? This is insanity.
No,
it's amazing. I actually have no doubt you make money now, right? Because now I understand it. But.
Well, you can take some of the biggest companies in the world, PSA, Beckett, they were some of the first, as it came in the 90s, they were some of the first companies that came into the industry and started doing this service for the hobbyists, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not even sure accurate on numbers, but even a company like PSA, I believe, is somewhere around the 800,000 cards, someone said a month or whatever it is, or maybe that's a year, that they're doing out of theirs. So to give you an idea of the need and want that people want for grading, that should give you a good idea of what people are looking for. And things changed, as you guys know, with the borders and tariffs and everything like that. That's a big change for the guys that were doing this to turn them around, right? Because if you send a Wayne Gretzky card down to say down there to get it graded, by the time it comes back with the tariffs, you could be into hundreds, even thousands of dollars to get the card back, right?
I don't even think they're taking Canadian submissions at this moment,
and they stopped doing it just for that reason, right?
Yeah.
So. Here at TGA, I built this and designed this for the hobbyist, mainly is because the cost effectiveness of it. When you want to take a card and get it graded, you know that it costs money to do so, and you want to make sure that your investment's secure and you're getting a proper grade, right? So with that being said, we start at $15 to get a card graded, and if you do anything more than 10, you're down to $12 to get a card graded. Penny, you've graded cards with other companies. What do you usually pay?
Well, because I'm usually bringing in anywhere from 50 to 150 at a time.
Yeah.
$10 to $11,
Yeah.
depending on what it is.
I like
right? The local guys because we don't get into this. Like if you send a PS, if I want to get a Gretzky card graded, probably from you or other locals, it's $15 if it's one, and if you bring in a bundle, it's 10, 11, 12.
Correct.
You send it to PSA, it's what's a Gretzky card going to cost you? If a Gretzky card grades on an 8 out of PSA, what are they going to charge you? $1,000? $800?
Roughly, yeah.
Somewhere in there, right?
They take a percentage. Phil looks confused.
On not the
No,
card.
I don't look confused. I'm a little outraged. Like, it's $1,000 to grade a Gretzky
They
card.
take a percentage of the market value of the card after it's graded. So if it grades an 8 and it's worth, say, $10,000, they take 5% of that, or whatever it is that they take, 2%, 3%.
Yeah.
As on top of the grading fee. And then you got a tariff now coming back on a card that's worth $8,000 that you got to pay another 25% on.
You got to pay a tariff on a tariff, is what that is.
Yeah.
Well, it's already highway robbery.
Card. Like, what do you get?
But you don't do that, do you, Tyler? So if I brought you a Gretzky, if I bring you one Gretzky card, it's $15.
$15, no up charges. That thing grades a 9. You're walking out with a smile on your face and no extra charges.
See, that's
what reason would they have to?
Buddy, that's. But the thing is, PSA is, all those who drank that Kool-Aid is the pinnacle. That's what people want. And you'll get standard comment, oh, it's not PSA. And you're thinking, no, I didn't want to send
the
this
mafia
$1,500 card in for $500. So it's a racket.
The mafia moved in.
It's a racket, man. Like, I don't even know these PSA guys, but really, it's my Gretzky card. All you got to do is grade it, and you're going to take a cut of my profit.
Yeah, cut of your profits that you went and hunted that card down. They want a cut of that. Yeah.
Which means you really got, when you're buying cards for doing this, you really got to know what you're doing, and you have to know how to grade the card, because there would be nothing worse to spend $3,000 on a Gretzky that you think is going to be a 7, and it comes back a 4 because you didn't see
now
a little crease.
Yeah,
and it happens. It's not hard. You get excited. You don't see things either, right?
That's what my friend Kenny would say. That's a bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Oh my!
So they'd say it in trails. That's exactly what that is.
To be clear, you don't do that, right? So, like, the Gretzky card is the Gretzky. Like, as a card, is a card, is a card.
Like I said, this is set up for the hobbyist. We did it, and like I said, we have bulk pricing as well. If someone comes in and wants to do, 500,000 cards, that we have bulk pricing that gets much cheaper as well too, right? But we did this for the hobbyists. This is something I wanted to do. My dad and I talked about all the time before his passing. We're old school, kind of like Kenny said. I come from the old school, not the new school. Out there trying to make a buck on everything when it comes down to it. I'm a collector at heart, right? And like I said, a lot of the stuff that I would get graded, I would, I sat there and spent many hours going over to make sure I had proper grades before they were sent in. So there's been many years and many thousands of hours spent practicing and honing the skill of making sure that you can send a card in and get the proper grade.
How do we determine? So maybe explain that too, because I'll give Phil another one. Like, there are times where I've had cards that I know what the grade should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to be within a half point on a grade. I know what the grade's going to be. Yep. And at times it will go in and it could grade a little higher. It could grade a little lower. It's subjective to some degree. So I'm going to ask you, so I'm assuming you have parameters that are from somewhere.
Yep.
Right. So correct. How does that work?
So I have a built-in algorithm. It's similar to, PSA, Beckett, same thing that they do. As you know, certain parts of the card carry a heavier part of the grade than others. So in a nutshell, without giving away all trade secrets and everything that's
Yeah,
involved,
don't tell us no trade secrets.
but you know, the card goes through extensive process on our end. It goes through you know, it goes on a centering. It's centering is checked top to bottom, front and back. Everything on that card is checked. It goes through multiple checks on the corners, magnification, light spectrums, checking for print lines, manufacturer defects, forgeries. A lot of that out there nowadays. That's one of our biggest. I've already, believe it or not, we're a month deep and there's already been 3 sent in. So there's already 3 people who tried to pass fakes through, right? So
What kind of cards? Are we talking Gretzky and used or
older vintage cards that were beat up to the point where they were hoping to just get an authentic or a 1 on it, and you could clearly tell that it had clear on it, right? And the other one, I don't think it was intentional. If anything, it was pretty common. You know, it's a new guy in the hobby, didn't know what he was buying, and unfortunately, it doesn't make him happy. It doesn't make us happy to have to tell him. But you know, when it boils down to it, it's a big deal, as you know, Kenny. In this business nowadays, there's so many ways for people to make fakes out there nowadays. So you've got to be up on the times and know all that stuff as well, too, right? Because it's a big deal. Right. Wherever something good is happening, something bad is happening. So there's something great in the industry happening, and there's always going to be those bad people out there that want to try and ruin everybody.
How do we remove some of the subjectivity of grading? Because grading is grading. Grading, if I sit down and look at a card, for example, I'll give you the gears on this one because I already gave you shit for this one. So I think it was Anthony showed me the card, right? And I looked at the card. I'm only looking through the plastic, right?
Correct.
I'm looking, I'm thinking, fuck, that was a little aggressive.
Your exact words to me.
You could have pulled a 4 on this one without causing any grief on the planet. And Anthony's sitting there with a 3. And I said, Anthony, that's a little aggressive. From what I can see now, maybe I got to get the light and see that surface. But the corners of the edges,
you need better glass.
Look good.
He seems like a stand-up
it's
guy.
one of those.
I'm just saying, like, you know, maybe you need better glasses or something.
Hey, when I'm in my card mode, I can get pretty good.
I clearly remember you making that comment to me, and I can honestly say
I'm okay with it, though. To be honest,
that?
I'm okay with it. To be honest, I would much rather that than seeing 4s that are actually getting grades of 6. That pisses me off.
And that was a common theme that I saw in the Canadian market that I didn't want as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I absolutely agree. And I would say the steps that we take here at TGA with our, you know, magnification scans, going under the microscope, everything that's done here is to, you looked at it through the glass, but realistically, if I showed you a few things under the microscope, you'd probably jump on my side right away, right? So
generally, just so we're both clear, generally speaking, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's usually something I just can't see until someone says, look, knucklehead, did you not? I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, I missed that one. Didn't see the extra crease. Sorry.
Yeah, no, exactly, right. And that's what it all comes down to, and that's why I call it true grade authentication, is because I want this to be as true as humanly possible. So when it comes down to it, there are things that people miss when they send them in, they get it back, and they're a little bit disappointed, right? Yeah. But at least we have full transparency between our website with a picture of the card on there to our 4 subgrades, so that, you know, when Kenny gets that card back, he sees the 9.5. He knows exactly where his eyes need to gravitate to figure out why it got that 9.5, right?
Which I'm totally okay with. I'm getting a little scared. So I've got about 50 cards. I'm just waiting for a few more to come in. And then I'm thinking, I don't know, man, because I've seen Tyler grade and I'm a little scared.
I'll put 4s on all of them, I promise, buddy.
You do that on a couple, I'm going to knock your head off. No, to me, the grade is the grade. It's as long as I know what the hell you did and why you did it, what am I going to say?
Yep.
So let me ask you.
For that conversation anytime.
I know you would. So I'll give you one, because this drives me. This is my opinion. It's shared by many, but it's my opinion. So you get your 5th Gretzky that comes in, at 9s, and then the other 5 at 10s. Are we capping how many 9s and 10s we have? Because we don't want to make sure we have too many 9s and 10s in our grading company. I think the big guy in the States does that shit. I honestly think there's manipulation.
And to be honest with you, Kenny, our plop count just went live the other day. I don't know if you've been on our website, but
I haven't.
Our plop count just went live. It was the last stitch in the
Yep.
program there. And yeah, no, I'm here for the hobby, right? That's what this is all about. I'm not worried if there's. I want the hobby to know that there's 40 Gretzky 10s out there. Or
Why not?
Right, it's not hurting anything. And honestly,
Well, it's hurting the guy who bought the only 10.
Yeah, well, there you go, right? But it's showing that the business is out there. It's a hot card, and people are interested in it, right? So it's
Phil,
I got
just
no
for
problems
the cynical side, because
Yeah.
there's many of us are probably convinced that there gets a point where you just see too many high grade cards go in, and now they're coming back at lesser grades, even though you're looking and thinking that's horseshit.
Yeah.
That card was way too hard. That was where it should have been, is not where it landed.
You're thinking that, the more tiers you have, the better off market value.
Well, you protect the secondary market, which drives most of this hobby right now. It's not. There's no the primary market it's not what it was. It's the secondary market where the action is. Because when a card comes out of a pack and it gets to Tyler or goes to PSA, is now it's a quantifiable grade, which means I can attach a true dollar to it. It changes this is what changed the whole game. And I love the hobby that we do this, because I love the protection, and I really do enjoy seeing a number on it, because I like that. But it's hurt the hobby in that it's just made it into this shit show of we're just all running to try to grade and sell, which again, I guess is part of it. But
it turned from a straight hobby into a hobby / business. It is the easiest way to explain it. It went from 100% hobbyist to 50-50 now.
Yeah.
You still have.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But
it's definitely changed.
That's not what I'm getting into, Kenny. Like, are you insane? Like, there's so many.
No, you could do this, because I think you'd actually enjoy it.
So many things to worry about now. So.
Well, you could also do it. You could go back into collecting. If you collect old wax, you can still pull cards out. And then what you do is you just grade really cards that either are highly sentimental.
I don't have the dedication to grade. Like, there's no way I got to figure out how to organize. I can't even organize my
I don't organize. I mean, I organize them once they come in, but I put them in piles, and these are the grading cards. I put them in the spreadsheet, and I go get them graded. And I always hope that I actually
appreciate you, but no, I'm not.
I think we lost Tyler. I think he's still
We may have. Yeah. Or maybe the card mafia cut him off.
Oh, maybe we criticized the big guy too much. Holy shit!
PGA or PG?
I'm not. Don't say it. Shh.
Fucking card mafia.
Seriously.
Yeah, fucking.
See, he's gone.
Oh no,
we've lost Tyler.
We lost Tyler. But this has been a really interesting discussion. We should give him a plug. So what's Tyler's company called?
Let's do that, because it's TGA. It's true. It's TGAgrading.com.
Oh, TGA.
True Grade Authentication. They're out of BC. The deals right now are actually pretty spectacular. So you could do a 520-200, which is 20 cards every year for 5 years, $200 one time. So that is a wicked deal. There is express grading, so I'm assuming a 5-day turnaround says $25 a card. Okay, we're doing your work for you, buddy. I mean, seriously, let's stay focused.
We're promoting your company right now.
Holy shit, we're going through the deals and the grades. Now you stay quiet. Now you guys,
I swear to God, someone must have just hit a power pole outside. The power everything went dark.
We think it was the card mafia.
You know what? Don't say no more.
Them, so somebody
probably lost you.
So what did I miss?
Probably tapped into Google. They're hearing all this shit, and we thought that's it. He's gone. That was fast.
He's gone. Hit the button. He's out.
Hit the button. So we're just telling people about the 520-20. We screwed up the company because there's TGA. There's 2 TGAs. This is True Grade Authentication. TGAgrading.com. Wicked deal for the 520-200. $25 for express cards, 5 days. $15 is standard. Sounds like it's 3 weeks if I heard you correctly. If you get into 10 or more cards at a time, $12 a card, still 3 weeks.
Correct.
And then bulk pricing, when does that start? After 10 or at 50 or 100? What do you?
That's going to start at 100. and that'll
Yeah,
go
I may
anywhere.
have to negotiate a little different rate, friends and family rate or something. I got it.
For you, 50. For everybody else, 100.
Yeah, okay. Don't listen to him. Okay.
They're just going to be fours anyways. So
Yeah, clearly, you know what I'm worried about is the ones that I'm thinking, okay, I think I can sneak a 3 here. I think I can sneak a 3, and it's going to come back a 2, and then I'm going to have to get angry with them. And I'm like, fucking 2. Why did you have to be so fucking strict? It's a 70-year-old card. Lighten up. Do something like that.
Tyler, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on anytime. I enjoyed it. It was great.
No, we'll get this out sometime over the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then hopefully let's see if we can drive some business.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Awesome.
We'll have to do it more often if that's the case. I enjoyed
Well,
the
if
conversation.
something new or
either way.
cool, or if you want to give us any updates on it, we do these in 15-minute hits periodically for YouTube, but just for cool and new shit. Because I think we might almost have Phil coming in. Not yet.
A couple more times, I think we'll have them.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Listen, you're perfectly
You just
nice
need to
guy. I'm
open
happy
one
to talk
pack
to you
with
about
one
it.
good card in it, and that's it. He's
I know,
done.
see, but he's still talking, so we'll let him talk. But I think we're about this close. Not this. I think we're about there.
Yeah, we're about this close.
Let me ask you a question, Phil. Do you currently have any cards in your house?
Yeah, I have them all over the place.
He's supposed to show me, but he hasn't done it yet.
I reached and I've got a little.
Elastic bands. No.
Yeah,
no.
Jesus Christ, Phil. Like honestly. So the first,
no.
so just so we're clear,
Look,
the first one and the bottom one are no longer. Don't do that.
Oh,
you guys,
I
look,
just
my
cringed.
God.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Hurts to watch.
every time you guys think I'm coming in, this is exactly what I'm going to show you.
It's like when
At least
Tyler,
it's
I don't know, I get
1990
people to
upper
show
deck.
me.
You're doing it too.
I get people show me. I got a Lemieux rookie. I'm saying, that's good. And it's the screw downs. I'm saying, take it out of that screw down now. Get a penny sleeve and a top loader.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Not even a one touch.
Beautiful.
Just a top loader.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't
come
know.
in. I had one just come in. It looks beautiful. The card looked absolutely incredible. And as soon as you put it over the light, all the corners are glossed right over and all the edges are glossed right over because it went one of those old school back in our day was supposed to be the ultimate protection for your card, right? Not knowing that it did the ultimate damage to your cards.
Flatten the card. I told one guy, I said, if you tightened it up, I said, you could actually get it to the point where it's not gradable because your width is going to be screwed up. You guys, it's like altering the card.
I remember those. Those are cool, man.
No,
I like those.
No, get rid of them.
They won't even grade them. Those cards show up at PSA. They come back altered.
They
won't
come back
even
the
grade
same
them.
way they left.
Not even the Mafia will charge money for those. I mean, that's really
not even them.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
There you go.
Tyler, thank you so much.
Tyler, thanks. I appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, thank Anthony, but I don't want Anthony's head to get too big, so we'll just leave it.
It's already big enough.
Yeah, I know. That's why we don't need to help it out.
All right, guys.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks again. Talk
Take
soon.
care.
Bye.
Ciao. Well, what do you think? See, you're close. You are this close.
It's madness. This thing is madness. It requires organization. It requires work. I have to send shit away to get it graded. I have to think about return on investment. The answer is no.
What we need to do is we need to teach you how to grade or look at cards so that you go to the show in Toronto and then we'll buy together and we'll split.
Nope.
Your attitude's a shit.
You find someone else to drag into your mess. It ain't me.
That's just a poor attitude.
Yeah. It's true.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm tired of Phil.
That's it. I am tired. Kenny and I have been together all day.
All day.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.